I have a question for you. At any time in your life, have you ever had a friend or a relative whose home felt like your home? Have you ever had a place so comfortable and welcoming that when you walked in, you just felt peaceful, cozy? Maybe they fed you too. If you've had a place like that, picture it for me now. Picture walking through the door and how you can breathe deeply and your blood pressure goes down and you can just be yourself. Jesus didn't really have a home, but if he had had one, it would have been at his friend's house in Bethany. Bethany is just a little bit outside of Jerusalem. You can walk there in an hour. When Jesus went to Jerusalem on pilgrimage or to teach, he would stay with his friends outside the city in Bethany because he could relax, because they loved him and he loved them. And his blood pressure went down, I'm sure, and he breathed and he felt at home. That's the beautiful voice of one of our baptizing girls today. We're going to baptize her. There were 2 sisters and a brother that lived in this home of Jesus' friends. And they had all the different roles that are typical in a family. I imagine they had lived together their whole lives. Their parents had died and they just kept getting along, so why move? There was Mary, the artist, the contemplative, the one who felt strongly about things and prayed and loved Jesus. Then there was Martha, the busybody, the fix-it person, the one who was always cleaning and cooking and helping and worrying. And then there was Lazarus. I've always pictured him as their baby brother, but who knows what the order was, but I'm sure he was mothered by his sisters. And I like to think that Lazarus was close to being Jesus' best friend, maybe. Back in the days of Jesus, of course, there was no medicine like we have today. So people would just fall ill and die, and no one understood why or what was happening. No one had words like cardiac arrest or stroke or diabetes. Life was fragile and could end in an instant. Sometimes people fell sick and died, but at other times they just died with no warning. Lazarus got very sick. And Martha and Mary knew that Jesus could heal, and they sent a message immediately to Jesus saying, "Please, come, Lazarus is sick." But Jesus doesn't come. In fact, he says, "I'm going to wait so that the works of God might be revealed." It's as if he's saying that in our sickness and even our dying, the works of God might be revealed. Oh, he says so much that I don't understand. But I wish, like you, that Jesus would just come in and fix it when we get sick. Don't you wish that? Just heal us all. It would be so much easier. But he doesn't. By the time Jesus arrives in Bethany, Lazarus has been dead for 4 days. Mary rushes up to him and falls at his feet, crying, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." Now, Jesus only cries twice in the Gospels. He cries at the Garden of Gethsemane because he knows he's going to go through something horrific, and he's terrified. And he cries when Mary falls down at his feet in grief. And I don't think that Jesus cried because Lazarus was dead. I don't think Jesus was worried about Lazarus being dead at all. For Jesus, he explains later that in his Father's house there are many rooms, and dying is just walking into another room. It doesn't make him sad. It doesn't make him surprised. It's just part of God's plan. But when Jesus sees Mary's grief, it's her grief that makes him cry. He sees that she has no understanding of death, no understanding of the promises that he will give to the people he loves. All she sees is a precipice and darkness and an ending and oblivion, and the fact that she will never see her brother again. And that's what makes her cry. And when Jesus sees her crying, he cries too. Jesus gathers them all at the tomb. Tombs, as you know, were caves dug in the side of a hill with a stone rolled in front. "Roll away the stone," Jesus says. Martha, the one who loves a clean house, says, "Lord, there'll be a stench." I love it. Her brother's dead and she's worried about the aroma and the fragrance. They roll the stone away anyway. And Jesus calls out, "Lazarus, come out." And Lazarus walks out. He's all wrapped up in the burial cloths. They wrapped up the body. So Jesus says, "Unbind him. Set him free." Why did Jesus bring Lazarus back? Lazarus would die just 1 year later. So what's the point? In fact, I bet for Lazarus, he was like, "Why are you doing this? It was better over there. Why do I have to come back? And what's going on with all these wrappings?" When my oldest son Luke was a baby, he was about 8 or 9 months, I think. Just the age where you like to play peekaboo and they're always surprised every single time, you know? Just the age where they're beginning to recognize mama and they don't want a stranger to hold them. And they don't like it when you leave the room. So I was in the living room with Luke and the mail came through the mail slot. We were living in Connecticut at the time. So I went into the hallway to get the mail and Luke started to cry. So I just popped my head back in and said, "It's okay, I'm right here." And then I went and got the mail. I didn't disappear, I'm right here. And just as I went back to get the mail, it hit me. That's what Jesus was doing with Lazarus. He just popped him back in and said, "It's okay, look, he's still here. He just walked into the next room. I'll bring him back, show him to you, and then he'll go back again in a year." Because when it comes to death and dying, we're so scared, we're like children. So Jesus says, it's okay, look. He's okay. It's okay. One of my favorite movies of all time is the movie Interstellar. Have you all seen that movie, some of you? It's really bad physics, but it's a great story about a father, and the earth is ending, and he goes off into outer space to try to find another habitable planet, and his daughter is left behind, and she doesn't know if he'll ever return, and he transcends time and space because of his love for his daughter. Einstein tells us that the fastest thing in the universe is the speed of light. But I think there's something faster. I think the speed of love is faster than the speed of light. Today is All Saints Sunday. Today we contemplate something that is beyond comprehension, that we are linked in a fabric of love with the people who we love who have died. We call this the communion of saints. In your baptism, you were included into this body, the body of Christ, that involves people who have lived before for generations and will involve those that live in the future. We are bound by the speed of love. We are bound to each other in love. I knew an old priest once, and some of you have heard me tell this before. He said that he believed when we got to the kingdom of heaven, we wouldn't be asked anything about the amount of money we earned or the grades we got. He said, you're only going to be asked one question when you get to God. You're going to be asked this: how have you loved? How have you loved? Throughout human history, in all cultures and races, from Confucians in China to Judaism to our Christianity today, we believe that our ancestors are still influencing us. And we call out their names, the names of people that we love who have gone ahead. We call them out, not that they're going to come back physically like Lazarus, but they do come to us. The influence of the people that you love who have died is tremendous, and you must call upon them now. I don't know about you, but Tuesday has me scared. This country is in a frightening time of instability, and we need to pray. We need to ask those who have lived long ago, who have seen hardships of many different eras, to be with us, to give us patience and kindness, strength and courage. We need the communion of saints. So I want you to be countercultural today and from this day forward. I want you to say aloud the names of the people you love who have died, not just today, but every day, to talk to them, to believe that within this fabric of love, they can hear you, and they can respond to you, and they can gift you with insight and courage and love. When we celebrate the Eucharist, this way that Jesus expressed his love to his friends and to us, when we celebrate this meal, Christians for thousands of years have believed that those who have gone before us and the angels and all the community of heaven is with us. And as you hold out your hands to receive the bread, and as you guide the cup to your lips, listen, because we will read aloud the names of the people that you love who have gone on ahead into the next dwelling place.